Right. Okay. Okay, so this is the last week of TWU, and every time I've done 12 TWUs, I look at everyone who gets through this program, and I feel it's a bunch of superheroes. And we say, don't be a superhero, but I'm talking about a superhero in a completely different context. So if you're superheroes, you should be getting advice from superheroes, not from mere mortals like me. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and collated some career advice from superheroes. So my first piece of career advice is from Batman. And what does Batman do? He fights crime, right? And why does he fight crime? Because it's meaningful for him. His parents died in the streets of Gotham, and he wants to actually eradicate crime from the face of the earth. So what I want to ask you is, why are you doing what you're doing, and why is it meaningful for you? Can you today go back home, place your hand on heart, and ask yourself how what you do makes meaning for you as a person? Right. A couple of things that I've been hearing from some people, and some people I keep speaking to, is that, well, I've got this weakness, and I've got that weakness, and I've got this weakness. And I actually grew up in a world where, you know, my parents, my teachers, everyone said, you know, you should work on your maths, and you should work on your science because you're weak at that. So I actually went back to Spider-Man, and I thought, all right, Spider-Man's Peter Parker. Peter Parker's weak. Peter Parker has an aunt who's old. But then Spider-Man's Spider-Man, right? So he needs to actually focus on his strengths. And the reason I'm talking about that is we talked about what's meaningful for you, what you're passionate about. And when your passion meets your strengths, you find something that's truly remarkable about you. So as you step into your big bad world of consulting, think about what makes you remarkable. How does your passion combine with your strengths? Okay, so I'm talking about passion, I'm talking about strengths, but it's important to remember that it's not always about you, because, you know, it's your passion, it's your strengths, but it needs to make a difference for some people. It needs to make a difference for your team, it needs to make a difference for your clients. Fantastic Four is a great example. By themselves, they're not really great, they're okay. But when they team up together, that's when they make a difference. And when I say make a difference, everyone can make a difference. You're new consultants, you don't necessarily have a huge area of skills, but you can do things. You can write about your experiences. You can help other people understand things better. So can you write a blog? Can you do something that creates a little bit of difference for someone else? Okay, so all of you have strengths and all of you have skills. And I like this example because you know, Harry is talented, but he's not as talented as Voldemort. It takes him 7 books to finally kill Voldemort, right? But he's persistent. Yeah, it takes him 7 books. He is persistent about it. So show some resilience and be persistent. The one thing you must realize is that you can't make everyone happy. You will do things which will make you stand out, and I think that's a good thing. You have to stand out. I actually have an example of one more superhero coming up very soon, in pretty much that same pose. You recognize that superhero? I got him straight out of comic. And he writes about great things. He takes a stand about the Great Indian Paintball Expose, or the Great Indian Switch Expose. He takes a stand. He's a brave guy. He's right amongst ourselves. But you need to polarize people, because everyone's not going to be happy with the things that you do. But I'm not saying this myself. You know, you go to any speaker, and Guy Kawasaki is someone I follow a lot, and he says, if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll end up a mile wide and an inch deep, and you'll be mediocre to everyone. And who wants to be mediocre? No one. Good. It's a good thing. All right. When you're trying to polarize people, there'll be people who will criticize you, and they are the bozos. I'm not talking about people who give you feedback. I'm just talking about people who refuse to understand your point of view, and who just criticize because they want to criticize. So my example there is Jameson. He keeps writing bad things about Spider-Man, and Spider-Man keeps doing his stuff. And that's what you need to do. What you do need to find is people who are willing to give you feedback, people who are willing to understand what you're trying to achieve. And Spider-Man has MJ, which I'm not saying all of you need to have girlfriends or boyfriends, which may not be a bad idea. But find someone who can actually understand what you're trying to do and give you some feedback on the way. While you try to do new things, you will make mistakes, and mistakes are a good thing. We've learned that. So you need to think big and take a chance. Now Spider-Man decided, okay, black suit means I become a crime-fighting super machine. That's a cool thing. He had a good purpose in mind. He realizes black suit is not a good idea, my own suit is a good idea, and then it's a mistake that he learns from. And eventually everything turns out okay. That kind of a mistake is not a good idea. That kind of a mistake is not a good idea because you're not learning from other people's mistakes. So he tells a very interesting story. He says there was once a girl drawing a picture in a classroom and the teacher went and asked, "What are you drawing?" She says, "I'm drawing a picture of God." And the teacher says, "But no one's seen God." And then she says, "Yeah, they'll see in a minute." And children take a chance. They want to do new things because they will learn. And that's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. And you guys need to be able to make mistakes too. There is the thing of having fun as well. And this is something that we talk about quite a bit at ThoughtWorks. And I want to ask you if this is a job that you truly have a lot of fun at. Spider-Man has fun, at Christmas at least. And you've seen from a number of things that we do, the ice cream meter, going for camping, doing things together, that kind of stuff. So is being agile your favorite thing? Is this what you really like to do? Is this something that makes meaning for you? Does coming to work actually make you happy? These are a few things I want you to think about, but there are a lot of things I've talked about. It's not magical advice. It's not as if you take all of this and it's a super glue that kind of creates your career. Try to make your own way. Try to think of what really makes sense for you, what drives you every day. And those are just some pieces of advice which I've shared along the way. Hopefully they make sense for you at some point. That's about it. All right, questions? No questions?
Who's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man. You saw it on most of the slides. Yeah. Any other questions?
Did you like the first movie?
No. But that's the case with all superhero movies, isn't it? Because you like the first movie and you don't like any of the sequels. I liked Iron Man and I didn't like Iron Man 2.
I didn't like Spider-Man 1, 2, or 3.
Oh.
And I'm a Spider-Man fan.
Well,
Batman was good.
yeah, the Batman sequels are okay, but that's because of a different director. Because it's got Christopher Nolan directing, so that's a different thing. Anyways, any other questions? Can I go away? All right, thank you.